Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's time for another episode of Viewport Relay, a bi-weekly podcast where the Viewport team looks at the latest news in the gaming industry. As always, I'm your host, Albert Corsten, and I'm joined by my usual co-hosts, Tristan Jung.
Hello.
And Alex Nestor.
Hey there.
So, guys, we haven't come up with a better segment. So we're just gonna keep rolling with it. And we're just going to start with, what have you been playing? And Alex, if you say Azure Lane, I'm going to throw up.
Nope. I have been playing it, but I've been playing other things as well.
Okay.
Two things. I've actually been delving into Black Desert Online and World of Warships a little bit. So
we're going to say Warcraft.
No, I'm not a Warcraft boy. I'm sorry. But, yeah, Black Desert Online, still not understanding anything about that game. I've just leveled, and that's about it.
I played that game for about an hour, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Yep, that's basically the game still for me, and I'm like level 54 or something, so... But yeah, realistically, it doesn't take that long to level in Black Desert Online. They give you a lot of XP boosts at this point to get up to 56 fairly fast. That's when you get your awakening, and you get more skills, so... It doesn't actually take that long to level combat, but I have no idea how to do life skills or anything like that. And the game, I don't know, maybe it taught me at some point, but I just wasn't paying attention.
How about World of Warships?
World of Warships?
Since I played it like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
They've added quite a lot of new lines to the game for free. Like the alternate Japanese destroyer line that has the Akitsuki, and the alternate Russian destroyer line that has Grozavoy. The French cruisers and battleships, UK battleships. So yeah, they've done quite a bit of updating and I guess some sort of balance changes for better or worse. But it's a nice game to just kind of relax and not take too seriously. You just shoot boats for a little while and then get off. But what about you, Tristan? What have you been doing this past week?
I don't even want to know. I already know what this disgusting man is going to say.
Oh, okay. Let's just go into the news.
No.
No, I was in New York last week, so I was playing a lot of mobile games.
Oh, tell me more.
Have you heard of this game called Fortnite?
Don't tell me you actually played on mobile.
Wait, how many episodes in a row have you made the joke, have you heard of this game called Fortnite? I think you've made this joke 3 episodes in a row.
No, I actually did play Fortnite on my phone, just to check it out.
Sure,
And then I played this other game called Project, which Project Fortnite. No. It's just called Project. It's a puzzle game. It was really fun. I played it on the plane.
Did you beat it?
I did not beat it. It's very long. It has to do with perspectives and like making shadows on the walls.
Is it like Gorogoa? And I just said that just because I like saying Gorogoa.
It's not like... It is like Gorogoa because it's also available on iOS, but it's not like Gorogoa because it doesn't play like it at all.
Okay.
Is it a free one?
No, it cost me $2.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to shell out some bucks, but it sounds interesting.
After I got back, I binged on Rainbow Six Siege. I bought all the operators because... Screw it, right?
Yeah, and you even dragged me into it, so that's something. I didn't even like the game at first, but I've just Stockholm Syndromed it and began liking it.
I think Tristan, over the weekend, played at least 15 hours of Siege.
Yeah, I'd say more. He had the game open the entire day, I think.
That's true. I go to Discord in the morning, I wake up, and he's on Siege. I go to sleep, and he's on Siege.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed my fill. I mean, to be fair, on Sunday, I did just leave the game on, and then I went to watch a movie.
Is anyone going to ask what I played?
So, Albert, what's the news? All right, Albert. Albert, what did you play? What video games did you play? Because we really care.
I hate you. That's the game I played. Okay. And it stars Tristan Jung and Alex Nestor. No. I played... So, I'm not like a huge fan, but I played a lot of Tribes Ascend back in 2013-14 era. Mm-hmm. So sort of a spiritual successor called Midair came out
Oh yeah, and how was that? I was curious about that one because I played Star Siege Tribes way back in the day.
You can tell it has a lot of free to play. It's like almost worse maybe than Tribes. Maybe I just haven't played it enough, but there's like a tech tree that you have to unlock by playing, or you can buy stuff, I would assume, eventually.
Oh, weird. Okay.
I don't like the maps as much for some reason. Maybe I'm just not used to it, but just capture the flag feels kind of weird.
Is it still like the skiing down the hills and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's Tribes. You're not going to get away from that.
It feels really, really hard to airshot people in that game compared to Tribes. I feel like the projectile of I don't know what it's called. From Tribes, they're spin fusers, but I don't forget what they're called in midair. But it feels like the projectiles are really small, so it's really hard to direct people. And for some reason, direct hits don't do a lot of damage. Maybe it's obviously just getting used to a different game and everything, so I don't want to criticize it for not being like Tribes, but...
Yeah, it's fairly new too, so it can definitely be rebalanced if they need to.
Exactly. And then also I've been playing, They Are Billions. So I played this a lot when it first came out, and then it released a big update last weekend where it added a bunch of wonders. So I've been trying to pick up that game again, and I'm trying to do the hardest level, which is like the desert wasteland, and I keep getting wrecked. So I haven't won a game since I started playing again. It makes me sad.
You know what game we have won in? Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. You know what game we never won interest in?
Fortnite.
A game called Fortnite.
Have you heard this game called Fortnite?
You might hear about it later. Just maybe.
Okay.
But with that beautiful segue into you might hear about it later, let's head into the news. All right. So let's start out with which I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions. We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch Online. We got the details. We've had the pricing scheme for a while. I forget the other, I think it's like $4 a month or whatever. But the big one is $20 a year. That's the one that most people are going to go to. It's the best discount. But let's get into a little bit of the features. It will have what a lot of people have been asking for. So before I go into it too much, let's talk about it feature by feature. I think that's the best way to do it. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the first one that people have been asking for, cloud saves. I'm just going to start. I didn't really care for everyone was asking for it. They were like, Switch is a portable system. The potential to break it is up there, and if you break it, you can't get your saves back. Yeah, but, I mean, this was like the only feature that came out from this announcement, it feels like.
I actually really need this feature because I need to format my memory card. And if I format it, I'm going to lose all my saves.
Wait, before now you couldn't use like a USB device to back up saves?
No. So I will go into a little more detail. So the cloud service, which you have to pay for,
yeah,
for the subscription, you will get cloud saves, but there is no announced feature if you do not pay for cloud saves for a local save option either, which is a lot of the criticism. So the biggest comparison is PlayStation Now, right? Or Plus, sorry, not Now, PlayStation Plus. And you can pay and get cloud saves, but you can still always, if you don't have PlayStation Plus, you can back up your saves locally still.
Yeah, and that's what I do for my PlayStation 4. Yeah, I just put on a USB drive. Yeah.
You cannot do that with Switch. Cloud saves are the only option, and you have to pay for the subscription.
Yeah. They'll definitely need to change that up, I think, to make people happy.
I feel like if they can get it online, then they can get the technology for people to back up locally, but...
They definitely should be able to have that option there.
Especially because right now you can take out a memory card and you can take screenshots and videos off of your SD cards if you save them there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why you can't do it with saves, but
I don't know. The whole memory card situation with the Switch is really weird. So I upgraded my memory, right? Mm-hmm. I went from a 64 to 256, and I cannot take screenshots on my new memory card anymore. So I need to wipe it, but all my saves are on there. So now what I have to do is whenever I take screenshots for reviews, I save it to the console memory, swap my memory card, copy the screenshots over to my memory card, and then plug that into my computer. So I just wish I could format my memory card right now.
So you're just waiting for this.
Yeah, my $20 is there.
All right, so I guess we forgot the big one. First of all, it allows online play. And by that, I mean all games you're currently playing online, whether that be Mario Kart 8, or ARMS, or Splatoon 2, you will now have to pay in order to play those online. But I don't think they've said if it will be dedicated servers or not, or if it'll still be P2P. So
I don't think they spent all this time making dedicated servers, to be honest. I think they're just going to keep it P2P.
Yeah, I doubt they'll spend any time at all trying to improve netcode or anything, even if it costs money.
I think this one's not as big of a blow because we've been expecting this since the announcement of the console that you would eventually have to pay to use online.
Yeah, really, it's only par for the course with the rest of the consoles at this point, because you can't play PS4 or Xbox One online without a subscription, so yeah, it's just falling in line with them.
And I think the disappointment came from the lack of additional features, because they already knew they would have to pay for online. But then we'll talk about the last feature, which is they will be releasing 20 NES games for subscribers that you can play for, I think it's a limited amount of time. So it's essentially they'll be available for a certain amount of time, and then they'll go away after that.
This NES re-release thing is getting out of control. I was okay with it maybe like 8 years ago, or when the 3DS came out. But like, why?
I guess it's just not a huge thing for me, because ultimately these games I will probably play like 1 or 2 times over again, and I just never touch them again until they're just gone, because I really don't have that much interest to play them over again.
No, but that's the problem, right? Like, the PSN games are like actually really good.
Yeah, they're giving you out constant like bestseller titles. Frankly, after their release date quite a bit, but I mean, yeah, it's quite a far cry from getting, say, Ice Climber. You're like, oh, okay. And then you play Ice Climber like once, and you're like, oh, this is a game, all right.
I want to go through the game. So you'll get 20, but they've only announced 10 so far. I want to get your hype levels. I want a hype or no hype for each of these games from you guys. Are you ready?
Can we just assume no hype, and we'll just say hype if we're hyped?
Okay. We got Ice Climber, Balloon Fight, The Legend of Zelda, Soccer, Tennis, Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros, Dr. Mario, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Hype.
Woo. Yeah, that's like the one game I'd like to see again.
And Donkey Kong. There's no hype, guys. There's no hype. The hype levels are gone.
Maybe the next 10 they haven't showed us are like the super amazing games. And these are just the, warm you up a little bit.
But I mean, you think about NES, and those are most of the classics.
You can throw some niche titles in there, like Takahashi Meiji's Adventure, things like that. But I don't know how excited people will be to actually ever play those games.
So one of the cool things that I thought was the only interesting thing to come out the NES games is that the games will all be multiplayer compatible. And by that I mean online multiplayer. So you can go play tennis online with someone else who has a Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
But why not just play a new tennis game online? I don't understand the appeal of this. I mean, it's cool technology-wise, but like, how many people are gonna play tennis together online?
You just wait until the next Evo, Tristan. There'll be Blades of Steel championships.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Online. Balloon Fight Online.
Balloon Fight Online. Nintendo World Championship, it's coming back. Balloon Fight. No, I think, me personally, it's not for the NES games. It's for when SNES games, if they're going to do the same service for these. If I could play, Tristan, you and me, play some Contra 2-player online, that'd be pretty cool.
But here's the thing. They said you might not be able to keep the games forever, right? It's true. Like a rotating window of games. So I don't know. All this feels very Nintendo-ish, as in like they don't really understand how this works.
It would be cool if they let you buy the games for a reduced price that you want to keep forever. I mean, obviously the best solution would be do something like games, Xbox Live's games with gold, or PS Plus games, where you get to keep the game forever as long as you're subscribed. But even if they couldn't, if we could, so Xbox Game Pass, where you get access to like a whole library of games that rotate. Mm-hmm. They actually have a thing where you can get a reduced rate and actually buy a game and own it forever, of course. And so if they're putting in all this effort to port these games with these services, why would they not let you buy them? Is just a really
I don't know.
puzzling.
I would just say because Nintendo. Well, yeah. Hey, friend codes are still here, right?
Mm-hmm. Just drop me those digits, I'll put them in.
Here's my 16-digit code, my friend code.
You want to hear more because Nintendo?
Sure.
Alright, so our next story. Nintendo has announced, and I will read this very carefully, I'll read their words, that there are currently no plans to bring classic games together under the Virtual Console banner, as has been done on other Nintendo systems. So...
No, this is Nintendo being sneaky. They're like, not under the Virtual Console name, wink wink, but instead the physical console game, a name by the SNES Classic, right? They just restarted production of NES and SNES Classic, so... and in Japan, they're releasing a new NES Classic, right? With different games?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it's Japan only. There's like 20 new games on there that are different from the original one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep churning this stuff out. Because, I mean, in the end, it's just like super cheap hardware for them to make.
See, there's situations like SNES and NES, but there's games on Virtual Console like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance that are probably not going to get the same treatment as those consoles that, if they don't release a Virtual Console, are not going to get the same attention as they did on previous systems.
But I mean, Virtual Console's on 3DS. And I actually wonder how many people bought Game Boy games on the console, Virtual Console. If that made sense.
Yeah. So when you mean sneaky, do you think Nintendo is only doing that? Or do you think that they're going to release games in other fashions? And by that I mean, they're already doing a little bit of all this retro old classics releasing. And by that, there's three methods so far that they've done. Obviously, so we have the SNES Classic and the NES Classic. There is the new Nintendo Switch Online, which they will be giving out these older games for free if you're subscribed. And then there are eShop titles that mainly third parties have been using. So, like, Neo Geo has been releasing a lot of their old games actually on the eShop that you can buy. Do you think that Nintendo's just not gonna do, quote, Virtual Console brand, end quote, or, and just release the games as B onto the eShop? Or are they just literally not gonna do any official program where they release their games digitally for the Switch?
Nah, I think they'll find some way to put them back on there. It doesn't make sense not to do it, because it's very low effort, I think, overall.
Yeah, I at this point, I don't really know. They're sending a lot of mixed signals. I feel like in the end, they're going to offer it. I just don't know how they're going to offer it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we brought it up earlier, but if you're going to release 20 games and they're going to go away, why would you put in that effort and not, like, just sell it on the shop and let people buy it with money? You're literally just releasing a game that you already made and making more money on it. It's just not financially smart to not do it.
Maybe it'll be like the Nintendo Switch Season Pass. Year 1.
Oh, God.
New marketing strategy. You can thank me later, Nintendo.
Our next story was Nintendo's original foray into mobile games, Miitomo, has shut down and ended. Did any of you play Miitomo?
Yes.
Never even touched it.
I played it profusely when it first came out. Like, I'm not even lying.
I played it too, and let's be honest, Tristan, there was like no game. That was not really a game.
it was a really easy way for people to stalk other people. That's what I feel.
Like, because you had to answer trivia questions about people, right?
Oh yeah, trivia, quote unquote. What is the one moment in your life that you don't want to remember? Yep, that's a trivia question.
Is that really a question?
I don't know. I feel like the questions got pretty personal at times.
Maybe because you did so many things that you got to answer all the questions.
I see. I mean, it was fun for about 2 days. And they had like the whole dress up your me, which I'm really into. You can visit your friend's house. But then they never really added much more other than clothes. Like, the gameplay never evolved, so I just kind of stopped and uninstalled within, like, a month.
So what do you guys think about Nintendo's... So Shuntaro Furukawa, Nintendo's new president, has gone out and said that they're going to put strong emphasis, essentially, in the future of Nintendo on doing new mobile games. Do you think that's the right direction for Nintendo?
I think they hit a good... like market with Fire Emblem, the whole gacha audience.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes is hot one.
Yeah, so I think they're trying out different stuff, right? Because Animal Crossing is more the old style mobile games of you do a bunch of stuff and you wait like 3 days for your thing to build. It's like very Farmville-y.
Yeah, you got that energy meter and you're doing the thing with materials.
Yeah. Pokemon Go is not really there, so I'll skip over that. There's Mario Kart coming out, TBA. Dragalia Lost?
Oh, yes. Yes.
An action role-playing game. So, I mean, I feel like they're just kind of portfolioizing. Is that a word? No, they have a wide portfolio of different types of games to see what sticks. So I think their mobile strategy's fine.
Yeah, it basically falls in line with all the other Japanese companies like Square Enix, and I think they're the huge ones right now. And then like Kadokawa with Kantai Collection, things like that. I think they're on a pretty good stride. I think they did a lot of good things with Fire Emblem Heroes especially. That game probably looks the most real of most gacha games in terms of a gameplay and translating to an actual franchise.
And I don't know if it's just me, but based on... Nintendo's been doing mobile games for what, about 2 years now? I forget when Mario Run came out, but they've shown that although they have strong interest in mobile games and partnering with DNA to do mobile games, they're definitely not one bit leaving the console market at all. I mean, last year they released amazing games. This year they're poised to release Smash and everything. So there are people who are potentially maybe worried that, oh, Nintendo just wants to cash in on mobile games and they're not going to make as many console games anymore. But I think that's not a valid claim or worry to have based on their track record.
I mean, if that was their strategy, they would just fire Miyamoto, right? Go the Konami route.
He worked on Mario Run though.
Oh, okay. Well, then fire the Zelda guy.
Aonuma?
Yeah.
Just fire everyone. Fire, what's his name?
Reggie.
The guy who comes up in the directs.
Fire the Splatoon dude.
Mm-hmm. Fire, Mr. Kabuki-san.
Yabuki.
Oh.
Yabuki-san.
Yabuki.
Yabuki?
Koizumi, that's the name.
Koizumi, the guy with the Mario hat.
Yes, that guy. Who's now a director on the board of directors. Anyways, we're gonna end the Nintendo train at this last story today. So, Retro Studios has been lurking. Okay, guys, they've been lurking. They've made Metroid Prime. They've made Donkey Kong Country Returns. They made Tropical Freeze. It's been almost 5 years since that game came out. What have they been doing? So, rumors have come out that they are working on a new game called Star Fox Grand Prix, which can be described as a Diddy Kong Racing-esque game mixed with F-Zero gameplay. As in, it will be fast-paced racing with an adventure mode, with boss battles, and all that Diddy Kong Racing madness
Tip
that
Top?
I enjoyed as a kid. Dude, I hate Tip Top. Oh my god. Tip Top and that mouse girl with the yellow mouse girl. Anyways, you sidetracked me. I want to know, is this a plausible rumor first?
It's definitely kind of out there, but, maybe it could be a real thing. It sounds cool enough to be real, or me wanting it to be real, rather, but I don't know. It's almost too unlikely. I don't know why they would suddenly think Star Fox should be a racing game. But then again, Diddy Kong wasn't exactly what I'd say is a racing game character either, so...
Is this what they need to reboot the franchise, though? Because let's be honest, Star Fox Zero was horrible. It got panned by critics pretty badly.
I really like Star Fox. I've just given up on Star Fox after 64. And I'm pretty disappointed that they have made Star Fox the experimental series, as with, like, Kirby and Yoshi.
I got a hot take, though. I kind of like Star Fox Assault for GameCube.
Damn, that is a hot take. It's a spicy take.
Yep. It had run and gun gameplay. It had the classic gameplay. You could just do whatever you wanted in that game.
I feel like they should have just made an F-Zero game if they're gonna make a racing game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I was like, imagine a doesn't have to be rated M, but if it was rated M, that would be awesome. You play Captain Falcon. You're in Mute City, and you've got to, solve,
a mystery. A Detective Pikachu shows up.
No. But, it's a dark tone. You got to race and stuff. That'd be awesome. Like an RPG playing as Captain Falcon.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone at Nintendo just really hates F-Zero because they do not want to make a new game for all those fans of that series.
They have, a 10-foot pole. They're like, ever since GX, just get out of here.
I really don't understand why, because people love GX.
I'm just going to say right now, after Mario Cross Rabbids came out, anything is possible. This doesn't seem unbelievable at all.
Yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see. I just want to see gameplay, so it can calm me down.
If it shows up at the Direct, I am going to start yelling. I'm going to be like, oh my god.
Are you going to smash your desk in half?
No, that's only if Advance Wars comes out.
By the way, the poll's going to be over at this point, but we're running a poll about what game you would want to be revealed at E3. And Advance Wars is trailing out of last place. It has a couple more votes now.
Advance Wars is too sophisticated of a game for the general populace now to understand its amazingness.
It's like Rick and Morty.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But do you want to know something that unfortunately did not seek amazingness and reach amazingness? So, you might have seen it coming from miles away, but Cliff Bleszinski's Boss Key Productions has announced that they are shutting down after 3 years. Just to give some history, they released Lawbreakers last year, and it was an okay game. It didn't do anything special, but it just didn't gain any traction, and unfortunately, it probably didn't help that a lot of the news articles that came out about that game was how low the player counts were. And then we reported on it last month that they had announced a new Battle Royale game called Radical Heights. And it apparently, according to Cliff, it was too little too late. It looked like it had potentially an okay future, but they just probably didn't have enough money to go for to continue developing the game. So, unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. I would have liked to see what real titles they could have thought up, but, they just kind of went with, I guess, the fads of the time, and it just kind of cost them, I think, in the end. Where they just, as you said, they just couldn't spend the time to develop Radical Heights any further. I think they were basically dead once they knew that they were developing that game.
I think Alex asked this, but when we're not recording, but I think it'd be interesting to see when they actually started developing Radical Heights.
Right, yeah. My questioning was, did they start developing Radical Heights when they knew Fortnite was already coming, or did they start around the same time as Fortnite? So that was something I was curious about, if this was just something they both kind of latched on the idea of when they saw that PUBG was getting big. But who knows now, and obviously one out big while the other is gonna fade away to nothing.
I think it's had a little bit of time to cook. Obviously not a lot. The animations in Radical Heights are really janky. About, I would say 20% of the buildings don't have proper texturing on them.
Yeah.
Obviously they probably tried to get a little bit of polish they could to release it, but yeah, it's a good question. I mean, melancholy, sad news, I don't know what you want to call it. Sony has ended production of physical Vita games. Let's go now to our resident expert on Vita, Alex Nestor.
It's a sad day in the gaming world now that Vita's gone forever in our hearts. But to be honest, I always had a soft spot for Vita. I thought it was a pretty great handheld platform, but it just unfortunately had no games ever made for it other than some Japanese titles that just never got over here. There were some good games out there, like Soul Sacrifice, and yeah, I'm sure there are other ones too, but, you know, too bad, so sad.
Do you think that Sony just didn't really want to support the Vita, or due to the popularity of the PS4, or do you think that developers just didn't want to make games for it?
Vita's just been irrelevant in the US, I think, basically since the Vita came out, so it just makes sense that they aren't going to try and attempt to even make this anymore. So if it's...
Do you think that the marketing was wrong?
To be honest, I'm not sure what happened with the Vita, but they were just not getting third-party titles or anything for the platform. Maybe it was kind of a symptom of what they also did during the PS3 era, where the system was kind of hard to develop for. But who knows now other than Sony themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just think about it, and a portable console that can play good-looking games sounds like, I mean, obviously a couple years earlier, but sounds like the Switch now, and that's sound like hotcakes. I mean, obviously, I see that a big problem from you were saying is it doesn't have the game support, and obviously with Nintendo backing the Switch, that is not a problem.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I would say drawing similarities between the Switch's handheld mode and the Vita is actually pretty apt, because yeah, it's a very similar looking concept when you actually compare the two. But yeah, overall, I really only used the Vita to play rhythm games, Hatsune Miku and the Persona game when it came out.
Oh no. Tristan, do you have any last words for the Vita?
I actually like the Vita more than the 3DS.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. The Vita was an outstanding platform compared to the 3DS.
I think hardware-wise, I agree. Software-wise, obviously, that's probably a completely different story.
No, even software, there were some really good games. I played all the Zero Escape games on there. I played Persona 4 on there. I played Metal Gear Solid on there. There are some really good games. It's and it ran really well too.
Oh, you know what I also did? I played Final Fantasy X, the HD remaster for it. The other PSN Final Fantasy games. That was really cool that you could play the PS Classics on it.
Alright, guys, that concludes the sad news segment. We're now going into the cool headlines segment. Everything needs to be segment, because that's cool, right? Alright, first story. Everyone's been talking about it. We got some Thanos Infinity War crossover in Fortnite. What do you guys think about this? I think it's awesome. Just a video game being recognized by Marvel and sort of having this one of the biggest, probably the biggest movie this year, having a crossover event with the biggest video game is just showing how much culturally video games have changed and become part of the norm, I think.
I was kind of disappointed in the implementation. I think the idea is really cool. I was actually hoping that if you found the gauntlet, you can snap and you can kill half the map. That was my dream. The idea itself is pretty cool. I think this is, other than maybe... Has there ever been movie crossovers in video games?
I'm sure it's happened before, but nothing on this scale.
E.T.? on the Atari 2600.
Okay, well, that's just a game based off a movie.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I watched some videos. Thanos can dance.
He can.
So-
He's pretty underpowered, though, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted the friggin' snap.
Well, I mean, he doesn't need the snap, but I mean, he could at least not be super. Like, his punch could one-hit kill instead of taking 3 hits. His jump is really slow. Stuff like that.
And I think this is a special mode, too, so it's not like it's going to affect the ladder.
That's
so
true.
I don't know why they didn't go all out.
I mean, in one sense, I assume they didn't want all 100 players going for the exact same thing at the start. I mean, most of the people do obviously go for it at the start, but they didn't want everyone, because otherwise it's not really Fortnite, it's just 100 people fighting over a power-up if you can instantly win if you get the power-up.
Or it should have been like, everyone hunts Thanos, right? Like,
ooh, that would have been fun. That would have been fun.
Epic Games, if you want to hire
Tristan
me,
John.
you can hire me.
Here's his number. Alright, next cool headline. We got God of War topping 3.1 million sold in 3 days. So I'm going to put it out here. We were rooting for our boy Monster Hunter World to be one of the highest rated games this year. God of War blew it out of the water.
Yeah, Dad of War, they just came in and they did not stop coming.
I know the previous installment in the God of War series was not too well received.
Nope, not at all.
So I'm glad they were kind of able to turn it around, just like a lot of other franchises recently, right? Like Tomb of Raider.
I can't think of any other on the top of my head, but I know there's others out there that oh, Doom!
They exist. They exist.
Doom? Do you want to say Doom? Does Doom count?
Sure, Doom counts. Anything counts at this point.
What about Nier Automata?
There you go.
Is a one-game franchise really a franchise?
Nani?
Ooh.
Wait, is Nier was just one game before, right?
It was just one game.
Oh, I guess if you're counting it like that, but I mean the sales difference between Nier Gestalt and then Nier Automata is just astronomical.
No, but this is great.
Yeah, I think it's great. Sony has been doing some good stuff. I'm kind of disappointed, though, personally, that the combat system was changed quite drastically from previous titles.
I liked it, though. I think that the beat 'em up was getting old. Not very many people want to play beat 'em up anymore nowadays.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll just have to keep waiting patiently for Capcom to make that Devil May Cry 5 game, but...
E3? E3?
I'm hoping on a dream right now.
Devil May Cry 5?
I hope so. I need some sort of action game. If Devil May Cry Devil May Cry 5 does it's so hard to say right now. If Devil May Cry 5
DMC.
No, you don't say the DMC.
No.
That's the devil's word.
No Run DMC.
That's the devil's word.
If Devil May Cry 5 does not show up at E3, I better as hell get a really good Platinum Games title announced.
What if he's in
Star Fox Grand Prix?
Starring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
What if Dante is in Soul Calibur 6?
I could see it. He'd work. That'd be pretty cool, too.
That'd be... Do it. Capcom? It's Capcom, right?
Bamco.
Oh. Bamco? Do it. Make it happen.
He'd be like, I think, the second character with a gun. I think Cervante had a gun at one point in the series.
That's fine.
But yeah, he'd be pretty sweet. I'd like Dante in that game. But now that we fully derailed the God of War discussion,
we're going to move into our final cool headlines. Super quick one. Persona 5 worldwide shipments have topped 2.2 million. Which...
Here, just to give some perspective, God of War sold 3.1 million in 3 days. Persona 5 has sold 2.2 million since, what?
Basically a year.
Yeah, a year. So just...
See, but I think of it like this. JRPGs in the US aren't that popular. And for a game like that to sell 2.2 million is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty insane for a series that's Persona, where you're basically just a high school student in Japan doing really Japanese things and then fighting demons. So yeah, it's a very good thing for Atlas. I'm very happy for them to be able to do that. I think attribute quite a bit of that to Persona 4, and then just into that, they just kind of kept the streak going with Persona 5.
You guys think we're going to see any Shin Megami Tensei at Nintendo this year at E3?
Oh my god, yes please.
I'm pretty sure we'll see Shin Megami Tensei 5, at least a trailer of it.
A trailer, yeah, because they've only had like teasers at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shovel that in right into my mouth.
I just reminded Tristan of that. He's like, oh, that's coming out.
But that is going in my prediction piece.
Yeah, I don't know. Shin Megami Tensei proper is a lot less popular than Persona.
Yeah, it's probably gonna sell like 200,000.
Yeah, you might not see Shin Megami Tensei until Tokyo Game Show.
Alright, and that concludes Cool Headlines segment. We're gonna move into our last story of the day. And I don't know how much Tristan has on this, but I know Alex and I will be interested in this one. So, the studio director at Eidos Montreal, who creates the Deus Ex series, has stated that Deus Ex is not dead. I can confirm that. That's the whole story. That's it.
Yeah, those are some very broad words.
I mean, it's like saying Half-Life 3 is not dead.
Yeah, I guess that's a very
But Valve has never
statement.
gone out and said that, though.
No, that's true too. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd be kind of open to seeing more Deus Ex. I think they need to change it up a little bit. I don't know. I got kind of tired of Human Revolution towards the end of it, and I just never bothered to play Mankind Divided.
I think Human Revolution was a little too long. Mankind Divided was a little shorter, but it definitely wasn't as exhausting of a game.
Yeah. I think they need to change it up again. Maybe just get rid of Adam Jensen. Make his story kind of done at this point. And then kind of decide on something new.
Dude, he's got to catch the Illuminati, though, first, Alex. Come on. He's got to expose them.
I have unfortunate news for you if you've played the first Deus Ex game.
We don't
Can we make that a segment? Has Albert played Deus Ex 1 yet?
Has Albert and Tristan played...
Has Tristan played Final Fantasy VI yet?
Oh,
low blow.
Oh man, come on.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure I've been trying to get these guys to play Deus Ex 1 for basically like 6 or 7 years. It's not happened, but I'm still hopeful.
Eventually, TM.
Do I even own it? Oh, I do own it.
I own
Damn,
it. It's $1, dude. They sell for like $1.
Yeah, you can buy it for like 70 cents on sale.
Hey, Eidos, is that how you pronounce it? Eidos?
Yep.
Eidos Montreal, please send us a review copy of Deus Ex 1.
I don't think they made the original.
It was Eidos Storm.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
And Alex, I know you haven't played it, but it's been on sale a lot, even when it's just $5. I think you should definitely give Mankind Divided a shot. The writing's not as good, but it's still... I think the gameplay is a lot better than
when I feel like it, I'll play it. But to me, the newer Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, they play kind of more like a Metal Gear Solid, I'd almost say, style of game, rather than a Deus Ex game to me. Like, Deus Ex 1 and Invisible War even don't feel like Mankind Divided and Human Revolution when you play them. They feel a lot more open, whereas in the two new games, I kind of feel that you're a lot more shoehorned into being stealthy.
Yeah. I put it this way, it's not like an exact comparison, but I compare Mankind Divided and Human Revolution as to Mass Effect 2 versus Mass Effect 3.
Sure, yeah.
3 had a lot better combat and like overall gameplay, but the writing and story wasn't as good. I would say put it the same way. But how about this? If you beat that game, then I will play the original. And if I play the original, then you have to play that game.
No, you guys should just play it at the same time. Just we can
How long
stream
is the
it.
original? How long is the original?
How long is the original? If you do all the side quests and stuff, it's probably only like 30 or 40 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad. That's like Mankind Divided length.
It's not a super long game at all. It's just a really good game.
I only get a little scared playing old games because the stealth mechanics are sometimes really weird.
Oh, in this game, the enemy AI is kind of dumb. They can't see you if you're in the shadows.
Hey, that's real life, though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe old school games are too good for us.
Maybe, yeah. The enemies have too good of eyesight.
Yeah, but I think just kind of relating back to the series in general, I think this series deserves to live on.
No, I definitely think so too. It's been a pretty high quality series, and I really enjoy that gun plus RPG style of gameplay where you can build your character, kind of make them unique on every playthrough.
Exactly.
It's something I've looked for in other games, but there's just not really any other games out there that do it just quite like Deus Ex.
And they're very good at memeing, too, in the later games. Like
yeah.
Basketball achievement.
That's true. Yeah, and Deus Ex 1's known for some pretty memey lines. So, yeah.
There's an achievement in Mankind Divided called I Never Asked for This, where it's permadeath, I guess is how you put it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you die, it deletes your save.
Disclaimer, by the time this episode goes up, there might be like 30 pieces of news that we missed because it's pre-3 season and all the leaks are happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have one more episode before E3, right?
No, I mean, just tomorrow something might happen. Just let the people know.
Let the people know. Okay.
What's happening? That's a Hot Ones reference.
I knew that's exactly where you're going. I'm Sean Evans. And this is Viewport Relay, a podcast where we ask hot news and even hotter responses. All right, guys, that wraps it up for episode 4 of Viewport Relay. Viewport Relay is currently only on Podbean, but we'll be appearing on iTunes, Google Music, and all of your favorite podcast directories in the coming months. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, review, and share it with your friends. We're also on social media as Viewport Gaming on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
Why Viewport Gaming?
Well, Viewport Relay is a part of Viewport Gaming, a gaming site that provides a look into video games through reviews, features, and podcasts. You can find all Viewport content at viewportgaming.com. I've been your host, Alex Nestor, and I've been joined by Tristan Jung.
See ya!
And Sir Albert Corsten.
Sonic Boom!
See you next time, guys.